So I have a confession to make. Even though I played hundreds of hours of Skyrim on various consoles as well as PC, it wasn't until the Nintendo Switch release that I tried becoming an archer. My first foray into Skyrim was on the Xbox 360 and I spent around 350 hours playing that version of the game. I was a battle mage, essentially, wielding fireballs out of my left hand for ranged attacks and then destroying enemies up close with my sword. My destruction level magic and one-handed levels were both maxed out. This made up-close encounters incredibly satisfying because I got to kill plenty of enemies up close and personally, plus it seems that the cinematic kill scenes happen more often when you're doing it with a sword. The drawback to this was that some enemies were extremely hard to kill. My archery skill was in the low teens after 300 hours of play. It took 10 times as long to kill dragons as it does when you have decent archery skills. The reason for my reticence to play as an archer simply came down to the fact that I am terrible at aiming using analog sticks. So, once I got the PC version of the game, I naturally gravitated toward what I knew, as many of us tend to do in Skyrim replays, and played my character the same way. I spent a lot of time with the PC version, but I have to guess half of it was just loading and testing mods, then removing them, then searching for more to install. Eventually you end up with a Frankenstein version of Skyrim, and I never really seriously played through the game there, even though I believe I ended up spending over 100 hours in the PC version. Even when I got the special edition and spent dozens of hours in it again, I still didn't change my playstyle. So, once the Switch version finally released, the addition of gyroscopic controls was enough for me to test out the sneaky archer build. I never did much sneaking around in my original playthroughs either. My modus operandi was to run in fireballs and swords ablazing, cutting down anyone on my path like a crazed swordsman. For the Switch release, I decided I'd try out what all the memes had always said. You know, you start out as whatever other kind of character, but by the end you're still a sneaky archer. I wanted in on the fun, so my new character was going to do two things I'd never even really tried in over 500 hours of Skyrim playtime. I must also say, if this Switch version had not have been released, I don't think I would have ever tried archery in Skyrim in a serious way. I can now see why sneaky archer is a thing. I was oblivious to the archery skill tree, and once I started going through it and saw that there was a multiplier bonus when shooting someone undetected, I realized how everyone ends up sneaking everywhere. Another bonus was the ability to significantly slow time while precision aiming your bow. Somehow I didn't know about all of this. The Switch's gyroscopic controls allowed me to, with incredible precision, aim my arrows right at the head, torso, or legs of my enemies at will. It is fun and satisfying in a way that whacking enemies with my sword never quite was. So here I was, in late 2017, playing Skyrim again, on the go, and it was like an entirely different game. As a sneaky archer, the world just seemed much more wide open to me. I could strategize how I'd take down an orc stronghold from afar. Previously, I just ran in and would find a choke point to have the enemy AI funnel through and hack them down. My aiming skills with fireballs were poor at best. But now, with my maxed sneak and archery skills, I can play through the entire area nearly undetected. I can take out sentries or lookouts from afar and then sneak in the front door. It is really just incredible fun. Add to that, I decided I was going to be using light armor on this playthrough. Previously, I had invested totally in heavy armor since I was always in close quarters combat. While I do somewhat miss my Daedric armor, I do think that my glass outfit looks quite nice. I am still trying to get my smithing up to 100 to build some dragonplate armor, just for the fun of it though. Anyway, I do realize that for the most part I am overpowered. In my Switch playthrough, I haven't yet traveled to Solstheim, nor have I completed the Dawnguard DLC, so we'll see how it holds up in those areas. Still, even now I feel like this is a different game than I remember playing years ago when it was released. I see the allure in replaying Skyrim as a different class type, though it seems like going away from a stealthy archer would be far more difficult to do than it was for me to abandon my battle mage build. I am not sure if Bethesda wanted this build to be as powerful as it ended up being, but it's just fun regardless. I don't think the Elder Scrolls 6 will let the stealthy archer build end up being this overpowered, but who knows. If they don't, it is probably best for the game as a whole, but if they do, then it will surely be just as fun. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like and subscribe, and as always, thank you so much for watching.